Is your practice swing often way better than your ball swing? It's something I see on a daily basis, both on the driving range and on the golf course. So why is that? The problem is that the practice swing is one task. We're just trying to create speed in the club head, and the instinct does a pretty good job of that. And when we make the ball swing, it's three tasks. We've got to create speed in the club head, we've got to strike the ball, and we've got to send it in the right direction. Uh-oh. Par! And with more complexity comes more stress and tension. So even with great technique, a little more tension can cause a shortening of the muscles, creating top shots, or maybe getting your sequencing wrong to make it very difficult to get directional control. So in this video, I'm going to give you 3 mental solutions to bring your practice swing into your ball swing for beautiful flowing shots to help you enjoy your golf more on the golf course. I'm Andrew Cullen. If you want to play better, think better, score better, and golf yourself to life, subscribe here. So let's get you bringing your beautiful practice swing to your ball swing using one of or a combination of these 3 mental solutions I'm going to give you here. Solution number 1, feel the club. Awareness of where the club is in space is critical to making good instinctive movement. So the big problem I see is what I call the blind spot here, where lots of players lose awareness of where the club is in space. You'll see that from my client swing from earlier here. Beautiful practice swing, upright to flat, so we flatten on the downswing. We come to what I call the beautiful angel angle. If you haven't seen my video on that, check this one here, where we get a great coordination between body, hands, arms and club. And then he goes to the ball swing and the club's in a completely different position in the transition and down into the ball. So just having awareness of where the club is in space can help enormously with your performance. Basically, the club, as it swings back behind you, gravity wants to do that. So we need to allow the club to fall where it wants to fall. So if we feel where the club is in space in the practice swing, yep, I feel that transition from backswing to downswing, and then I translate that into the ball swing, flattening, that's right down the stick. Then we translate that beautiful practice swing into your ball swing. Feel where the club is in space. Solutions number 2 is what I call the Scotty Scheffler game face, where we open the mouth very slightly from start to strike in the swing, which has the effect not just of loosening the muscles in the cheeks and the face, but also the shoulders, the hands and the arms. So sequencing, which I'll talk a bit more about in a minute, is much easier. Let me show you one first with Scotty's game face, and then we'll take it in a bit more detail. All right, so the mouth is very slightly open, start to strike. Boom. So let's talk about sequencing. So sequencing is basically based on throwing motion, getting the coordination of body, arms, hands, and whatever you're throwing in the right order. So if I was to try and throw this golf club as far onto the driving range as I could, I would probably make a little run up or a couple of steps, sort of Happy Gilmore style. And there's logic in Happy Gilmore. All right, so we'd make a little bit of a run up. We'd plant the left foot down for the right-hand golfer. We'd push in the ground, which is going to create rotation in the hips and vertical force, and then we've got rotation and leverage in the body, hands and arms behind it, and then we're going to relax and let go of whatever we're throwing. So that's the sequence of motion, starting from the ground up through the hands and arms to the projectile, that we're trying to get in the golf swing to maximize power. It also has a very big influence on directional control. So in slow-mo in the golf swing, and obviously it's a more complicated throwing motion because we're trying to stay as stable to the ball as possible, but the sequencing is the same. So basically through transition, I'm moving left, same as the thrower would do. I'm pushing in the ground, creating again rotational and vertical force. That creates much more speed behind me with the upper body rotation, leverage in the right arm and rotation in the right arm, and then delivering the club head to the ball. That's the sequence we want. Really complicated, but if we keep the upper body soft, hands soft, that sequencing takes place much more naturally, and that's the whole point of what you'll see in Scotty Scheffler's swing. Mouth slightly open to try and relax the upper body so the sequencing is easier. So let me hit a couple of shots for you. One I'll just do full view, and then we'll focus in on my face and show you my Scotty Scheffler game face. So mouth slightly open. Here we go. So we get a beautiful sequence in the throwing motion. All right, so let's focus in on my Scheffler face. So again, mouth is just very slightly open, so no gnashing of the teeth, no tension here, relaxes the shoulders, hands and arms, and then gets the sequencing much easier without having to think about it. So mouth open. Also helps to smile, and nailed it. If you're scrolling through YouTube and not finding the answers to your golfing questions, consider joining me at Buy Me a Coffee, where I will personally answer as many questions as you like in video format, and you'll get access to a growing library of the videos that I'm producing to answer those questions for all my customers, all for the tiny price of $10 a month. All right, solution number 3 to getting your practice swing to your ball swing, what I call look at the low point. Let's think of the logic here. The ball is lying on the ground. The only way we're going to get this ball up in the air is if the leading edge hits underneath the equator of the ball here. Then we hit the sweet spot. We've got some loft. The ball's going to fly. So the low point in the club head swing needs to be at or just after the ball. So we change the task. By looking at the low point, we have a less stressful task. We're not trying to get the ball up in the air or send it straight or even hit it at all. We're just trying to hit the low point. So if my subconscious really, or if my conscious is looking at the top of the ball, my subconscious is thinking, right, hit the top of the ball, there's actually quite a good chance, full top, that you are going to hit the top of the ball. So this little practice I give you now, what I call hitting some small shit to get a few tees. You'll have seen this on my channel many times because it is the easiest way to get your practice swing to your ball swing. It's the most success I have with customers on the golf course. So we just get a little tee. Let me just get you in view here. Just get a little tee, pop it in front of the ball, and you're looking at that point from start to strike. And sometimes just the anxiety and stress is a little bit away because all we have to do is make contact with the tee. We're not trying to direct the ball, get the ball up in the air. I'm just focusing, looking at and focusing on the tee, 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 start to strike. And the ball strike is just a consequence of trying to change the task and get the low point in the right place. So my recommendation here would be to use one of these on the golf course, or you can use a combination, number 1 and 2, so awareness of the club with game face, or 2 and 3, so looking at a point in front of the ball with game face, because this is a game changer, keeping your mouth slightly open. So here's number 1, where I'm just keeping the mouth open. I'm focusing on where the club is from start to strike, so I instinctively create the right speed and direction in the club. So where's the club? Yep, like that. Club, I almost feel the club sort of falling down at the start of the downswing. Or we just forget about where the club is, we keep the mouth open, we keep the eyes in front of the ball, and the only focus is just keeping the eyes in front of the ball. So pick a piece of grass or on the mat, just look at a piece of mat from start to strike. Again, just takes the anxiety away. Nailed that one. Takes a little bit of anxiety and stress away from actually trying to hit the ball or get the ball up in the air. All right, so here's a little bonus tip for those hanging around, because I know the comment's going to come. The low point with the driver's in a different place. So how do we deal with that? We look at a point on the ball, but I'm going to orientate the ball towards me and down. So we're actually going to hit the ball at the start of the upswing. So rather than focusing on a point ahead of the ball, I'm looking at a specific place on the ball with the same idea. So here we go. We tee the ball up. Blue logo's just round the back there. So again, I'm not too stressed about hitting the ball. I'm just focusing on the blue logo, start to strike, blue logo, blue logo, blue logo, blue logo. Oh yeah, beautiful little baby draw.